Okay, we're recording. Hi, Sok. I
Yeah.
am your interviewer today.
Yay.
First off, Pearl is here. I don't know if you guys, no, you guys have
Yes,
met. We went
of
here.
course. Absolutely.
Um, Tell us about yourself, please. We would love to hear.
Myself. So I don't know what you want to know, like my whole life story, or how did I get here, or if you have a few days to listen to me,
I
or
think like life story light, and
like,
then a little bit about what your role is and what you do outside of your role here at PC.
cool. So here's the life story light in like a nutshell. So first and foremost, I am not from here. I was born in a refugee camp following the genocide in Cambodia with the Khmer Rouge. I lost 6 brothers and sisters that I never met. I wasn't supposed to survive, but luckily I made it. Um, and that was in like 1980s. So, we were escaping the whole Khmer Rouge thing and then the trauma that followed with it. And I was born in a refugee camp. So from there, we went to the United States, got sponsored. It was a 2-year process. And we came to Iowa for a few days. No, sorry, to California for a few days. And then to Iowa for a few years. I went to a predominantly white school. At that time, we lived in a big housing complex, like 6 stories, 4 to 5 apartments per floor, very small, one room apartment with a bathroom and a kitchen. That was basically it. And then my brother and my sister was also born. A few years down the line, we moved to Rhode Island and we were displaced in a heavily marginalized neighborhood, gang neighborhood, all kinds of things like anything from prostitution, as we called it back then, to a plastic factory, to my lemonade truck selling drugs. Lived there for 11 years. I found dance in high school, break dancing, and most of my friends were gang members at the time, and they started break dancing, so I did it as a hobby. I went to this place called Everett Company Stage in school. They asked me to do a anti-tobacco educational school show, which is being an advocate and an activist against anti-tobacco and for the youth and the youth voice and so on and so forth. I said no a few times, but ended up doing it. Loved it. Fell in love with dance. Fell in love with community. Um, didn't graduate high school because I reverted to hanging out with friends that I'm used to and people that made me feel comfortable. Um, yeah, and then I didn't graduate high school until later on. Went to CCRI, community college, dropped out. 2 years, did a full 2 years for an associates, dropped out. Didn't go back to college until 2007, Rhode Island College. Did another 2 years, changed my major a few times, dropped out again. Again, a lot of personal trauma. Went back to school. I mean, 2009, I was like, F this, I'm just gonna be an artist because I've been an artist since I was 16, and then this is what my life is gonna be. And I kind of settled for it. 2013, I decided to go back to school. Finally got my college degree from College Unbound in 2014. I was 33, turning 34 at the time. And that was the first time I had we first had a family portrait. And that was the first time I got a hug from my father because we didn't celebrate birthdays, I love yous, hugs, kisses, none of that because they were always on survival mode the whole time. And that's how life was for me. It was normalized in that way, right? And I thought every neighborhood had a gang neighborhood. So, and that was what it was for me. And then I was like, what's up? Sorry. And it was like, that's what I thought it was for me. And I was like, I'm done with school. I'm good. Then 2018 came. I was like, you know what? I applied for a graduate course a graduate degree, master's in fine arts. I got an early acceptance because of my resume and my expertise and reputation. It was a low resident school. I couldn't afford it. I said no, thank you, but no. It took a month for them to accept the no. And then a few months later, I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna pay all this money, I need to change my graduate master's, let me do this, this, and this. And then I looked into 4 to 5 different universities. Providence College was not one of them. I would never come to Providence College based on the narrative I've heard, which is prevalent on the campus. But Adam Bush from College Unbound was like, hey, this might look good. So I checked the courses, and it was a master's in education with a focus in urban teaching, and it had all the courses I wanted. And good thing was like Nuria, the director of that program, and a few other professors and a few other folks knew of me. Sean Mukhtar knew of me, and I met her prior to applying for PC. And I was like, yo, the universe is like saying, yes, you should go here. The vibe is right. And they welcomed me with open arms, all the folks that I mentioned. I applied. I got an early acceptance. I got in. And then I got a GA ship. And that's how I came to be. And I got my master's in 2020. And now I'm back here at Moore Hall, thankfully, because I love it here. And I appreciate the students, and I appreciate the faculty and staff that helped get me here, you know, and they were very equitable in helping me get my degree. So, you know, in doing so, I had to take another step back and not taking jobs and whatnot, because this was a full-time thing, school, and, you know, also doing a GA shift, 20 hours a week. So I did that, got it, came back. I'm here now, and I'm honored and I'm blessed to be part of an amazing team. And that's my life in a nutshell.
Wow. Okay. Great work. That was incredible. You really hit all the important parts.
Yes.
So you were a GA and a student. What's it been like making that transition from being in a graduate assistantship and as a student to in the role that you're in now?
It's kind of similar in a sense. Well, it's more hours, but it's kind of similar because I was doing a lot of things that I'm doing now. Because Sean was doing so much relationship building, partnerships, collaborations, and meetings, and so on and so forth. I was basically manning the station here, right? What I'm doing new is that now I'm also taking on that role that she did. But for me, it was kind of like not an easy transition, but more so as in I've been used to doing that because of my previous work and the work that I'm still doing. So I have a lot of partnerships and relationships with outside organizations. I just utilize that expertise here on campus and still building with the off-campus, the external community, and trying to bridge that gap between PC and you know, surrounding communities, and also other artists and educators that I've been working with for so long. So it wasn't, not that it wasn't easy, but it was more of a transition as in, okay, new space, you know, and really new location and new demographic, if I'm to be honest, right? And how do I get that demographic to be a little bit more open to what we would like to do and be equitable here on PC and Moore Hall. So really it's like taking the expertise that I've learned from Sean and also what I've already known and combining that and really trying to push that forward.
Awesome. So you have kind of come in here and done a lot of your work during this really kind of strange and uncertain time with COVID. How has that work that you envisioned for the center at Moore Hall changed or been revamped due to dealing with COVID-19?
So the issue with that was like, it was revamping it into a sense where it's virtual, right? And also because I'm an artist and we had to adapt to a lot of different situations and different climates. So what I did for myself was, because I'm used to, as an artist, I'm used to last minute changes, even the day of the show. So here, since we're running so many different programs and initiatives and working with student orgs and faculty and so on and so forth, we had to either look at all the programs that we've done and say, hey, this won't work right now, this won't work right now, let's push it back to the spring, or revamp it in a sense where let's bring this virtual, let's work with the student orgs, with the faculty if we're doing so. You know, like Nick Longo, also with Quincy Beverly and Christopher Chambers and so many other folks, and also with student orgs like OLAS and Believer Words, and say, hey, you know what, we can't really do this. Let's do either a hybrid version, or if you can't even do a hybrid version, let's do a version of it virtual. And then now that takes a bigger team, right? A bigger marketing team, because now it's not just doing in-person work, but also doing virtual work and really sending that out there, and then collaborating with college events and student activities, and hopefully trying to get something to progress. Unfortunately, a lot of the stuff right now is on hold, but not canceled. So we're trying to make sure that we have enough space and enough time to really revamp it the way we want to revamp it, right? So I feel like the fall semester is one of the semesters where, hey, we need to do what works at this point and then focus on the spring. But also what we're doing at this point is making sure that I'm listening and that we're all listening to the students' needs and how Moore Hall can support them. Even if it's an event that's virtual or if it's a hybrid event, pending COVID restrictions, regulations. So every day is kind of different because, one thing we had done was I just got the dance studio to be approved for 10 people at the same time with 15 square feet per person to be in there and still do dance with open windows and the ventilation and so on and so forth. I just got that approved. 2 days later, shut down. Now I have to go back and get all, speaking with Sharon and Mark Raposa and Chuck and really saying, hey, you know what, you need to reach out to all the dance groups and dancers and everybody else and say, sorry, we got to close the studio down. And I had to shut down the kitchenette. And now coming back on, working backwards and doing that again. So it's that kind of mentality and switching and adapting based on the COVID regulations, restrictions, because it's always, I feel like it's always changing. And even with today's climate and the demographic on campus and the climate on campus, I feel like it's also always changing. So with Moore Hall, I need to make sure, of course, the GAs like yourself, Kylie, and the fellows are able to do that as well. And they've been amazing, so I have a dope team. But that's what it is, right? It's developing this team, even if it's not just the Moore Hall staff, but also working with other folks, like I mentioned, Chuck and Sharon and Mark Raposa, and getting the word out there as soon as we can. As soon as we hear it, boom, email or in-person work or spread this, spread that. So it's a lot more work because the changes are like this. So that's one of the challenges. But as a creative, as an artist, that's the thing that I'm kind of not good at, but more so as in last minute chases and shows and stuff that I've been doing. I know how to adapt to those things on the fly. Sorry, speaking of fly, boom.
I think you've done a really great job. It's been cool watching you work in your style of working, outside of the interview part, but I think you do really good work.
I'm trying.
So last question, kind of a softball, I guess, but what are you most looking forward to this upcoming semester and the rest of the year? So you can think, if COVID restrictions, if we just solve all of COVID, or within COVID, and kind of what are you just really excited about?
So besides, I was excited that I got the offer to come back onto campus at Moore Hall. So one, boom, that was, something I was dreaming of that for a moment in time, I thought would never be a reality for me, and also getting to higher learning is a new passion for me. It's a new love. I'm also a professor now on PC for the urban education program. And I'm loving it. I'm loving the students. And because of that, I'm also teaching at College Unbound, and I'm still teaching dance. So I still have time or time-esque to do the things I want to do in a different platform, in a different field, a different location and space, different demographic, but also I'm still able to utilize my creative side in the work that I'm doing. So what I'm passionate, what I'm happy about right now, well, what I'm hoping to do is we have this health and wellness initiative with community building. We're trying to bring that the community dance series, community paint night, working with a clinician to have trauma resources or trauma workshops, either virtual or in person or a hybrid, right? To do those things, working with Believer of Word so they can continue to utilize their voice, because as powerful as it is, I want them to be able to do it in person. They've done it at Moore Hall, at the Arts Cafe, and if we can't do that, hybrid or virtual. Working with the Latinx group Olas, man, they're so dope. And in October, the end of it, we're working on making this an ofrenda for Dia de los Muertos and have an offering thing here and finding out which section to do that at. I know everyone is super busy and also trying to adapt, so I'm lenient as in time and trying to be aware of everyone's mental health, because for me that's most important, especially BIPOC students and LGBTQ plus students, and making sure that they have resources that they need, or if they need Moore Hall to be support in any way, I'm happy to give them my support or our support any way we can. I'm hoping to bring the community hours back with faculty and students. I thought that was so dope, and I was able to, sorry, I do this a lot to students. I can't just ignore them. Able to see students and faculty at the same time, speaking with each other and utilizing the space the way they want to, and me able to offer snacks, and so on and so forth. I'm happy to work with Carly Fonseca again, bringing the Conversations for Change, and also with Nick Longo and Quincy Beverly, cultural conversations, and also bringing out the films, and hopefully with Keith Stokes again with the African Heritage Society, and bringing a gallery in, and also building relationships with outside communities, AS220, Every Company Stage in School, Providence Student Union, artists and educators, and try to, again, build that gap, or bridge that gap, not build that gap, bridge that gap, and have that community be like this, right? Because we're so enclosed in this bubble of PC that we forget that there's an outside community. I mean, I see the students going all the time to the Walgreens there, to the local bodegas over there, to the haircut place there, and all these things, but we're welcoming, I'm saying we as in the general community, we're welcoming PC onto the outside, whatever the case is. We have to be able to do that, vice versa. So making sure that happens. And that's what I'm excited for, is to continuing that work, even if it's virtual. Hopefully it's a hybrid. I mean, idealistically, in person. So that would be great. Bringing back the Feria del Libro thing, where we had Latinx authors, writers. We had a Cambodian Asian event that happened here, where Asian dance group came in, and it was just seeing the culture of events and the differences in folks, and appreciating everybody's different sides and coming in and doing these events. So I'm getting excited talking about it now. I'm hoping that will continue. So that is the fight. And I say fight because there's a couple pandemics on right now that we're fighting against, and hopefully we can fight through it and towards it. So I'm ranting. That's what I do. I rant. But yeah.
No, this is great. This is what you're passionate about. It's awesome. Okay, that's all I have. You have given us so much to work with.
That's it.
I think I'll see you Monday because I'm getting my COVID test this week, so I'm back. I'm back, baby.
I'm excited to see y'all. You see, I see kids right now. You see, I'm saying hi and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes it for me, man. Like I'm, saying hi to them, and Hassan and Hussein, they come and ask me if they can go do a class here or go to this place, and so you got any snacks, so you got any coffee, even the little things like that, those little interactions with students makes my day, because life is so crazy as it is right now. It's like those little interactions mean the world to me, and probably to them, so I want to be able to make that accessible as possible.
Yeah. Thank you, Sok. Okay, Nick, I think we're good.
If he's there, I don't know what he's doing.
There, he just left.
He's probably working with a student. Yeah, so that's dope. Pearl, it's nice to see you again.
It's nice to see you too.
Are you home?
Loved everything you said.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, I was saying I was taking notes, and I'm so glad to have you back. I was like, oh my God, because I know your GA ship ended last year. So it's like, oh my God, it worked out well. Like, I'm really happy that you're back at Moore. I think it's the perfect place for you right now.
Thank you. And I'm hoping we get to connect again, and whatever, initiative or program or anything you want to do here at Moore Hall, we are down. Let me know.
Thank you. I definitely will.
We're open to that. And I would love to have students come in here, especially that 18% of marginalized folks here in BC, to have a place where they're like, you know what, let's go to Moore Hall, or let's go to this. And not just that 18%, but everybody too, and be here as inclusive as possible. So that's the utopianistic type of ideology that I want to approach with you guys. But yes. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. I can go on forever, but I gave you guys my life in a nutshell. But we want to.
I think you're good. You pretty much nailed it. It was incredible. It was great. Fascinating. Okay. I think you're good. So if you're dismissed, you can go hang out with us.
Thank you for dismissing me. I appreciate it. Nick, if you don't hear me, I'll see you later. If you have any other questions at all, please email me, text me, whatever the case may be, smoke signal, pigeon call. I'm cool.
Thank you.
Awesome. Take care, y'all.
Bye. All right. Do we need to do anything else, Perla? Nick, are you there?
No idea.
think we're good.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, I'm gonna head out. If you're there, bye.
Yeah, bye, Nick.
Bye, Perla. Bye, guys.
Oh, he is here.
Hey y'all, sorry about that. I was on a phone call while you guys were doing that, but hold on, let me stop the recording.
Yeah.